Streaming is on.
Yeah, so for now we're not proposing them as full trajectories because it hasn't been organized yet. So we'll get back to that and we'll consider both for the prime trajectory. So it's important to note that typically a prime trajectory would not be an umbrella trajectory, right? So it's obviously you can make a prime trajectory, umbrella trajectory, but what we're saying is that the umbrella showcase website launch is so important and the actual website itself is so important that once the website is launched, it will still be one of our primary focuses as for our entire, organization, Vortex network and everything, right? Is that certainly want to be improving the website, improving the showcase, improving all the programs that are on it forever. But basically, it's like one of our primary focal points for public interaction and everything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So even when it's no longer the prime trajectory, it would still be an umbrella trajectory automatically, even if we change our
The prime trajectory.
Yeah. Okay. So it's good to note that putting it as the umbrella trajectory has nothing to do with the prime trajectory. The prime trajectory is not technically in fact, maybe to make that clear, we should just get rid of prime and just say the umbrella showcase website itself would be the umbrella trajectory, saying that that website would continue as an umbrella trajectory, even though it's not the prime trajectory. Make sense?
But it's umbrella showcase website or umbrella showcase website launch. The umbrella.
I'm changing it to umbrella showcase website to make sure it's clear that even after the launch, it would stay as the umbrella.
All right.
Yeah, and we can just note this here, even after. Okay. And obviously, one day we might realize, okay, these are terrible umbrella trajectories. Like everything needs to change. We could go to back to a 2 model, a 50% model. We go to a 25% model because we might add a fourth one. Whatever happens, happens. But for now, this is it's good to note that escalating something to an umbrella trajectory is more than just a launch, right? It means that you're saying that it's much longer term, right? Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. And also it's good to note that, if we get clients outside of SVG, client work might be, applicable beyond SVG, but it's just good to note that right now we're just calling it SVG client work because that's where we're trying to center our client work. All right?
Yeah.
All right. So are there any other questions about the proposal to approve the 3 umbrella trajectories as our base model of the 33% division of priorities? And it's also good to note that each umbrella trajectory automatically creates its own full trajectory, which gives us 7 general work trajectories, plus the 3 umbrella trajectories, which is 10 full trajectories total. Okay, at this time. And that could obviously go up when we get night work trajectories and general work and general work trajectories. So any questions on the proposal?
No.
For other questions?
No questions. We lost Moth.
Are there any concerns about the proposal?
No concerns.
Are there any objections?
No objections.
Okay. We have consensus, right? So that one's done. So now let's just approve. Go back up here and approve the proposal to approve our general work trajectories list for now. Obviously, this can change, but the idea is that this would include all of the work that we're currently doing within these 7 trajectories. All right. Are there any questions? Are there any other questions? So, yeah. Are there any questions?
No questions.
No.
Are there any concerns? Are there any objections?
No.
I'm going to change this to approve our list of 7 general work trajectories. So that it's clear. So if there's no objections, then we currently have consensus, and that is a green. Okay, so from here, the next steps is obviously to reconsider the full trajectories in relationship to the client work and the general work. But I think we're good and ready to move on to the schedule. So any other questions before we move on to the schedule?
Yeah, wait. What about the other proposal? Where was it? To make all Umbrella Showcase websites launch sub-trajectories to become full trajectories.
Yeah, I just don't know if I'm ready to approve that because I feel like
Yeah.
we need to go through that in detail within the coordination and planning and really just rethink what it means to have a full trajectory because it might not be necessary. I mean, we have to consider each full trajectory individually, really, I feel,
Yeah, me too. I agree.
Because the full trajectories could umbrella entire areas of the Umbrella Showcase website launch and not necessarily just automatically make all sub trajectories full trajectories. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfectly.
And the same thing is true with the client work. Not all client work is necessarily a full trajectory. It's a much more nuanced process. All right. So unless anyone wants to push any other proposals or any other questions or anything, I think we're ready to go on to topic 3, which is scheduling.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you will see here, based on the trajectories and specifically our triple model, the 33% model, our proposal is to significantly change the schedule based on this new model, right? So the current schedule that we have looks like this.
Want me to get that, Jay? I have it here.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. And as you remember, we talked about how the current schedule involves the 50-50 model, right? So basically half of our time is the prime trajectory, the other half of the time is the general work. Right? Everything else, basically.
Yeah, and with the vortex model, it's 2 days sessions octant, right? We increment by 2 sessions per octant.
Yeah, it's either 1, 2, 4, 6, etc., etc. In the new model, it's going to be 1, 3, 6.
Yeah,
1, 3,
9,
6,
12.
right? So, well, you can't have 9 in a week. It's impossible. It's only 7 days. So the maximum
Yeah,
is 7. So it's 1, 3, 6, or 7. Those are only options. All right. So with the new schedule proposal, can you copy the new one, or I can find it?
I have it. I have it here. I have it right here. Okay. Let me get it.
So with the new one, you'll see that we break down every single octant based on, in this one, I think there was 8 octants. The new one, it's 12 octants, and we break it down by the prime trajectory subsessions and exactly what the priority will be for each subsection. The general teamwork. Oh, it was general teamwork. That's it. What in all the sub work that needs to get done, and then we have the SVG client work. So the main thing that you're going to notice here is that the main session takes up one of the general work sessions. So for our regularly scheduled normal work, it only gives us 3 additional buddy team sessions per week. And this is for the regular schedule until maybe in the future we decide to add more sessions. But this is just doing 12, which is already more than we were doing before. But I am very happy with this because we are adding more very important sessions like client work. Because before we didn't even include client work. And so now we're saying, okay, client work needs to be prioritized, which makes me feel really good. One of the client work sessions per week, this is going to be the Friday, Saturday Andromeda. We are looking at more of like a coordination and planning session, right? So that's this one here. So basically Thursday, Friday Andromeda is going to be like main session. Friday, Saturday would be kind of like the equivalent for the client work. So this is where we coordinate all the client work and make sure the client work sessions are organized and functional. And then on Saturday, Sunday, it might be more of like the support alliance side of things, where we're putting the support alliance, life support, and organizational support into the prime trajectory as a core component of the prime trajectory, being our public facing relations of the website. So the prime trajectory website and launch is going to include the support alliance, life support program, org support program, all of that. So we figured that could be kind of like the main session of the green prime trajectory sessions. So that is the proposal, is basically going to a 12 session per week. With this, obviously we can change it around as needed. And then each session has specific guidelines. For example, if you go into our 12 sessions per week models, this is line 30 to 44, you would see the priority sub-trajectory slash full trajectory, right? Depending on how it's organized.
Yeah.
And then you have the secondary sub-trajectory slash full trajectory, and then you have the third sub-trajectory or priorities, right? So, for example, Tuesday, Wednesday, Andromeda, we would focus on identity and guiding documents and the launch agreement, right? Those would be the focal point for that session in terms of the sub-trajectories. And we're going to go over sub-trajectory training ideally in the session, we'll see. But the only thing you really need to know and understand is that once you have a clear trajectory, whether it's a umbrella trajectory, a full trajectory, or a sub-trajectory, that trajectory will clearly have all the priorities listed within it and tell you exactly what needs to be prioritized and what the next step is and what the next responsibility is and what the work is that needs to get done. So before you go to the session, you will ask the questions and know what your priority is and understand where you are in the trajectory. And then also every trajectory leads to every other trajectory. So depending on the priority of the team, right, the prime trajectory is still primary for all 4 of these sessions. So depending on what the overall prime trajectory priority is, that could change what's happening in a session. So the trajectories themselves will make sure you're working on the priority work that you need during that session. Okay, and so we'll do more training on that. But that's all you really need to know. That this is a guide to help you get focused in the session. You're still required to check in on Discord and or email and make sure that you have priority for the session. It's also good to know for the general teamwork. Actually, there's 2 places where the CCC board recruitment and nonprofit budget come in. One is in the planning and coordination for the prime trajectory showcase, right? This whole area here potentially could involve the nonprofit budget. And then obviously under our general team coordination, we have a whole section on recruitment, positions and roles, and the CCC nonprofit setup. And so the next time for that is Monday, Tuesday, Cobalt is basically Monday afternoon for Pacific time, okay?
Monday.
So that gives 2 very clear places. Also within value distribution, budgets and payroll, all the budgets and the payroll processes are all happening once a week, Friday, Saturday, okay?
Friday, I'm sorry, once a week. You got cut off there.
Yeah, once a week, Friday, Saturday, Hydra, which is Friday morning Pacific time. So in general, what's important to understand here is that this is not enough to get all of our work done, but it will at least ensure that all of our work is at least being worked on once per week, or at least addressed once per week or every 2 weeks, to make sure that we are moving everything forward. And then obviously certain priorities will take precedent over other sessions that are scheduled regularly, as well as scheduling one-time sessions, for example, during Sonic, other sessions during Hydra, or other sessions during Sunday, Monday, or whatever it needs to be done. All right, so that's basically the presentation of the new schedule utilizing the trajectory schedule model.
Understood.
Right. So I want to just clarify something very important that I didn't understand before. So this changes in a way that, I mean, we're still required to go through the normal scheduling process, right? So the point is that if these regularly scheduled sessions do not happen, right? No session, not at least one buddy team doesn't happen, and with a focus on the scheduled trajectory, the whole team gets policy tracking.
Okay.
It's what?
Okay.
Policy tracking.
Okay.
This becomes, it's
5
like
minutes.
I get
Okay,
it.
so 5 minutes. Yeah. So let's just cover that again. For this is a policy. So the policy is when we set up regularly scheduled sessions as a team, right? We're approving this as a team. We're all saying that these sessions are going to happen. If they do not happen, we all get policy tracking for usually about half hour, whatever the value is of that session, typically half hour, right? So it's very important that if we all agree to do 12 sessions, for example, instead of 8, that we all agree that we are going to make sure we schedule all 12 of these sessions, and all 12 of these sessions happen every single week. Otherwise, again, we all get policy tracking. That also means that if, for example, Alberto schedules for 8 sessions and there's still 4 additional sessions, we shouldn't be counting on Alberto to schedule those last 4 sessions. The rest of the team should be stepping up to make sure the other 4 sessions get scheduled, right? We all want to work on this together as a team. We can't all work the same sessions.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, that is definitely the policy, and it's very good to understand the policy in relationship to the schedule. And that is true with the current regular weekly schedule, which has 8 sessions. We have been doing very good. We have not missed a single session since we set up the new trajectory scheduling model, which is great. So this is working. We're having a lot of success with this. People seem to be knowing what they're working on, when they're supposed to be working. They're getting training, they're getting support. So this is all leading towards a plan of success, which is really good.
Yeah.
So anyways, the policy is applicable already now. This is not a new policy. It's been in place for years and years. Once we schedule regularly scheduled sessions, they're required to happen. If they do not happen, everybody on the team gets policy tracking, period.
Oh boy, okay.
Okay.
Anything else that you wanted to add, Alberto?
No, not really. I mean, we also build we build the schedule, the details to try to.
Well, there's still tons of work that needs to be done on the schedule. This is just the schedule overview, and then obviously we're going to break it down by individual session. You can see here, if you're looking at my screen, we've started a little bit with the old model. So the old model is just the 50-50 model, where we have general work and we have prime trajectory work, right? So you can see here we break down within each session, what time does it start? What is the trajectory, like the full trajectory that's being focused on? And then what is the sub trajectory that are being identified as the priority for that particular session? And then you have priorities, which could be basically segments. Like, what are the priorities in the segments which change the most often, right? So if you're changing the priorities, that makes sense. When you're changing sub trajectories, then that means it's a little bit larger decision. You're going to check in on that. So from there, you make sure that everybody who's scheduled is checking in on Discord before the session, so that you have clarity on exactly which priorities and specifically the responsibilities that you're working on. And then every single time you have multiple buddy team sessions, there is at least one buddy team established as the lead buddy team, which is the basically they are the ones who are responsible for making sure all the other buddy teams have clear responsibilities and are scheduled or organized so that they're getting work done and that policies are being followed. All right, so we will talk more and do more training on 2 things. One is that we have training on trajectories, right? When you learn more about how the trajectory model works, this trajectory model and the trajectories themselves are going to tell you what the priority is, so that you know what you're supposed to be working on during each session. The second training is training on multi buddy team sessions. So basically having more than one buddy team during the same session is different than just a normal one buddy team group of 2 or 3 people. Okay, so we've had as many as 8 buddy team sessions during a single octant before. And again, it takes a little bit of coordination to get started correctly, because it can be very chaotic if everybody's all over the place and not actually focusing on the work. But it's good to note that if you have 2, even 3 sub trajectories, right? So for example, let's just take Hydra Wednesday, Thursday Hydra client work. So Wednesday, Thursday Hydra client work, which is right here. We have taxes, finances, bills, sponsorship, admin fees. If you had 3 buddy teams going simultaneously, one buddy team could be working on taxes, one buddy team could be working on bills, and another buddy team could be working on sponsorship, admin fees. Obviously, this is going to take a little training, but that's what we're here to do. Okay, it's to train you and get all multiple buddy teams functioning simultaneously.
You got we're on the top of the hour.
Exactly.
Bottom of the hour.
Oh yeah, we need to break. Did we miss the break at the top of the hour?
No.
We didn't. Okay.
No.
So yeah, so let's go ahead and take a break.
We didn't miss it.
Yeah, and then we can go ahead and vote on this. But are there any other urgent questions that we want to list now so that we can at least write it down before the break?
No, I just want to make an additional clarification. So the point is that we ideally, like, we are verifying now the commitment and the schedule based on the commitment, which is a basic criteria. So ideally, we want that based on your commitment, you schedule within these regularly scheduled sessions, so that we have as many as possible buddy team going on at the same time, right?
Okay.
Well, but that's not the goal at all, right? There's no goal of having as many buddy teams simultaneously going on as possible. That is not the goal. All we care about is making sure that the buddy teams are scheduled properly with the correct work and training and responsibilities being assigned. Like, I don't care if there's 1 buddy team. I don't care if there's 2 buddy teams. If we have 3 or 4, that's fine. But it's only because there are people who are stepping up to do the work. There's no reason to create buddy teams just for the sake of, quote, creating as many buddy teams as possible. That is not the goal at all. We want professional work being done, and our only policy that is required is that at least 1 buddy team is working per session. There is no requirement to get, quote, as many buddy teams as possible. Right, Alberto?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but we want to have as many hands, on deck as possible.
Yeah, well, but we want everyone to do is everybody's required to schedule based on your commitment. So you give your commitment how many hours you want to work per week. That breaks out to how many work sessions you're required to do per week. And then you need to step up and schedule based on your priorities and your responsibilities that you're taking on. That process doesn't change. By you doing that, you're going to get more work hours, and you're going to get paid more. But in the context of, setting up the buddy teams will just happen strategically based on the ability for people to step up and do the work, and then also to prioritize the training during the main sessions, during the the buddy team sessions and other places, right? So you're going to want to make sure you're scheduled people who can train you, et cetera, et cetera. Okay?
Okay.
And that process will happen. And the thing is that if we do this correctly, and we take this on and we're successful and we bring in more money, we can increase our budget. By definition, the number of buddy teams per session will just automatically increase over time, right? So there's no hurry in maximizing the number of buddy teams. The trajectory model and the model of being successful, launching, increasing our budget, getting more people involved will automatically increase the number of buddy teams per session. That make sense?
Yeah, perfectly.
All right, let's take a 5-minute break. When we come back, we can finalize this proposal and then go on to the new pipeline experience model, which is very exciting.
Jay, don't we want to present also the other proposals for the schedule?
Oh yeah, we have the policy proposals. I think we should vote on the policy proposals first. So if you can copy and paste those in, we vote on those first, and then we can vote on the final. We can just finish the proposal and then do the policy.
All right, I'm going to copy and paste them. Okay, 5-minute break, everybody.
Wait.